Lucinda Riley ist bei uns, hier bei der lit.Love. Sie wissen, Lucinda Riley, eine der erfolgreichsten Autorinnen der Welt. Allein im deutschsprachigen Raum hat sie mehr als 6 Millionen Bücher verkauft und in mehr als 40 Ländern werden ihre Romane gelesen. Ich begrüße nicht nur alle, die jetzt hier sind bei der lit.Love, sondern auch alle, die uns zugucken online und gestreamt auf Facebook und auf Lovely Books. Toll, dass ihr mit dabei seid. Wir werden auch Fragen reinnehmen. Wer also irgendwie Lucinda Riley fragen will, bitte einfach mitschreiben, uns schicken und wir werden das auch sofort hier live erledigen. Jetzt aber erstmal einen großen Applaus. It's a great pleasure to have you here. Hello, Lucinda Riley. It's wonderful.
Danke.
Lucinda, you're looking great, so I guess success is making happy, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, thank you for the compliment. Thank you to the makeup that I just brought to cover all the bags under my eyes. But thank you to my very busy schedule for keeping me thin. And thank you for everyone who has come here today to support me. Just thank you, because without you, I wouldn't be writing these books, so I'm so grateful to you.
Ein großes Dankeschön an die Leser. Teatime mit der Queen of Romance heißt ja unser Talk.
Can I please have another title, like, I don't know,
Okay.
The Empress of Tea or something? But yes, because the Queen of Romance always sounds a little bit like, do you know an author called Barbara Cartland?
Yeah.
You know, and she's about like 105 when she was alive, and you know, she always dressed in pink, and yes, she lay on a chaise lounge to write her books and had little furry dogs and stuff, and that is so not me.
No, you're not like that. No.
Do I have Queen of Romance hair?
No,
Oh
not
my
in
God,
a
I'm
way.
getting it cut off. I'm getting it shaved then.
Also sie sagt, nein, Queen of Romance, das ist nicht unbedingt der Titel, den sie haben möchte. Das klingt so alt und sie ist überhaupt nicht alt, sie ist jung, sie ist frisch. Und jetzt suchen wir einfach einen neuen Titel. Okay, let's search for a new title, but a Queen is okay. Queen of Romance is not okay, but Queen is
I
okay,
think I
isn't
really
it?
fancy Empress.
Empress.
Oh ja.
Okay, yeah. Welche Teesorten bevorzugt sie denn und ist es überhaupt Tee, weil wir hier bei der Teatime sind? What is your favorite kind of beverage? Is it tea?
My favorite kind of beverage? Well, thank you. Who was it that said that? Actually, can I just tell you that yes, I mean, but rosé was so yesterday. I've had a complete rosé no in the last few months. I just don't drink it anymore. I'm now on to gin.
Really, gin?
Yeah. But not like all the time or intravenously or anything like that. But in England at the moment, there is a real gin moment. I don't know why. Is it coming here or?
I haven't heard about that.
And now you go into a pub or a hotel and they don't have a wine menu, they have a gin menu. And obviously, having to be in with the in crowd, as I am, I've had to switch to gin. Okay, but not any gin. It's got to be Hendrix. Do you know Hendrix? And it's got to be the twirly little bit of cucumber, and ice and tonic. And oh my God, I write so well after I've had one of those.
Lucinda Riley hat neuerdings den
You're not
Gin.
filming me saying this, are you? Oh, good.
Ohne Gin läuft überhaupt nichts mehr bei Lucinda, haben wir gehört. Früher war das Rosé, jetzt ist es Gin und im Augenblick
ja.
aber auch ein bisschen Tee. So tea for just a little break is okay, but not
No,
for...
but I have a very, very definite way of splitting up my day, because when you work alone, it's very, very difficult to, you need something to look forward to. You know, so I have drinks split up during the day, only one of which is alcoholic, let me tell you. And so I have special mugs, and I always have the same routine every single day. And so around about now, I start to crave a cup of tea. Okay, around about 7 o'clock, I start to crave a gin.
Einmal am Tag, sagt sie, ist es möglich, Alkohol zu trinken, während sie schreibt. Sonst ist da auch mal Tee dabei oder irgendwas Unverfängliches. Aber neuerdings eben abends auch Gin. Wie läuft das eigentlich mit Ihrer Familie? Wie kann man so viel, so gut, so erfolgreich schreiben, wenn man viele, viele Kinder um sich hat? We all know that you do have a great family. How is it possible to write even every year such a big book and such a successful book with all the family in the background?
Because I have to find somewhere to go away to write that first draft. And that's always very difficult because it's almost as though the gods are always looking at where I'm going and they will then find a way of trying to disturb me. And so I spend my entire life trying to escape noise because, as some of you know, anyone from this morning knows, I actually record the first draft. So I have Dick, who is my little recording machine, and Dick and I speak a lot. And so I can't have noise around me because otherwise you can't hear on the tape. And I was once in Oslo, and I was on the 15th floor of this hotel, and Oslo doesn't have high-rise buildings, so I thought, I'm so high in the air, nobody can disturb me. I'm on the top floor. And I get there, and I go to sleep, and I wake up the next morning, open the curtains, and they've put scaffolding up along the building, and I'm standing in not very much, and I open the curtain and there is a guy in a hard hat, you know, with his mate in their orange outfits, and I'm going, hello, and he's going, hello, through the window. I'm like, oh my God. So, but now I have this beautiful home in Ireland, and so it's 14 acres of peace and tranquility. So I go there to write Tiggy. And I'm there and I'm thinking, yes, I've done it. I can now have peace forever. And then I have a farmer across the road who literally just this weekend, my first weekend there, decides he's going to sow his corn for the year. And so I have teams of tractors coming up and down, doing all the fertilizing thing, doing all the turning over. And then the big reveal at the end of this story was the plastic going over the top of this in sheets. I'm just like, okay, I literally give up. I will have to find a bunker somewhere underground. And you can guarantee there will be someone there, you know, to just, I don't know, playing a record or, I don't know, blowing me up or something. It's just unbelievable.
Es ist also durchaus schwierig, Ruhe zu finden als Autorin, sagt Lucinda Riley. Zu Hause soll es eigentlich ruhig sein, ist es auch in Irland bei ihrer Familie. Sie sagt auch, wenn sie den ersten Entwurf ins Mikrofon spricht, das alles nimmt sie erst auf, dann muss es total ruhig sein. Später ist es nicht mehr so schlimm, aber sie hat auch gerade erzählt von Bauarbeiten zu Hause. Es gibt immer irgendjemanden, der stört, oder von Zwischenfällen in Hotels in Oslo. Also es kann immer etwas passieren und sie sucht die Ruhe, um schreiben zu können. Apropos Oslo. Sie kennen das und haben das sicher auch schon gelesen. In Lucinda Rileys Büchern gibt es Schauplätze sehr exotisch. Jetzt bei den Sieben Schwestern in Thailand, in Australien, in Norwegen, in Brasilien. Ist das alles so eine Art Urlaub für Lucinda Riley, wenn sie Recherchereisen macht, oder immer harte Arbeit? I mentioned all the places that your novels are playing in. So would you say for you it's kind of a vacation to travel to all these places?
I think of it as a vacation because I think for me, writing must never be a job. It's just a pleasure and a passion. And I think that I'm the luckiest person on earth, apart from the fact I think I've broken my back in Germany today, but apart from that, it's fine. Because I do what I love for a living. And so however hard it is to sometimes separate myself from my family and my children and go into isolation to write that first draft, I feel blessed because I don't think there is any better way to live than actually being able to indulge your passion and then have other, like you lot, I mean, if you were me sitting here, you'd just be like, is this a dream? You know, is it a joke? Because you can't ever get used to the fact that other people want to read the book that you have written. You know, and sorry, I'll get emotional now, but I write them and have written books all my life just for me because I love them and also because it is a way of therapy. So if I have a problem, I am all the time taking the story and I'm writing and I almost write that problem out. And for anyone here who goes through a difficult time or, you know, has a problem, and every single one of us in this room has had that situation at some point, all I can say to you is write it down. You know, get it out, because it's when it's stuck in here, you know, the pain, the problem, the misery, the anger, whatever emotion that is. And actually, if you put it down on a page, you are letting it out, and you don't need to show it to anyone. I mean, I don't show my first draft to anyone at all. It's literally me that reads that first draft, which is normally a pile of vomit. It's just terrible, but it's all out and it's all gone, and we don't write anymore in the way we used to, but it is such a therapeutic thing to do, you know.
Das Schreiben ist sehr, sehr therapeutisch, sagt sie, und sie kann das allen von uns empfehlen. Wir können unseren ganzen Ärger, unseren Leid, unsere Verzweiflung eigentlich ins Schreiben geben, aufschreiben, was uns beschäftigt. So macht sie das, zumindest beim ersten Entwurf. Dann ist es draußen und dann fühlt sich alles auch schon besser an. Und vorher meinte sie noch, sie hat wirklich den besten Job, eigentlich die Erfüllung eines Traums, den man sich vorstellen kann. Sie trifft hier heute ihre Leserinnen und Leser, das ist einfach wunderbar, und dass ihre Geschichten und ihre Figuren wirklich erleben und zu lebendigen Personen werden und von anderen wiedergespielt werden. Das ist einfach fantastisch. The first questions are here from our online audience. Vielen Dank, dass Sie mit dabei sind und mitmachen. Elke fragt über Lovely Books. Zum Beispiel, gibt es in Ihren Büchern auch Charaktere, die Sie aus dem realen Leben kennen? Are there characters in your books that you know from your real life that may have been a role model for you?
If there are, I can't say. Especially if they're the baddies, you know. I think that what happens when I write is that there are elements of people that I know and situations that I know, that I've experienced, that go into that character, but it could never be pure. Having said that, I'm writing Tiggy at the moment, who is the 5th sister. And I have to admit, she is the one that is most like me. So when people say to me, how is Tiggy? What kind of character is she? Will I like her? Then I'm like, well, I don't know whether I'm that interesting or whether anyone is going to find her interesting, because we are actually very, very similar. And I've never written a character before that is so similar to me, but she is definitely, yes, I mean, definitely, she would be very, very, she would have the same thoughts and the same feelings and perhaps the same strange gift that I have. So, yeah, I mean, but it all gets put in the mix. It's a recipe, like no cake is exactly the same when you all bake it with the same ingredients. So, and no child is the same when it's born, and we're all a different DNA. But there are definitely elements that I do put into the books, yes.
Es gibt reale Elemente und es gibt tatsächlich auch Teile von Personen, von Persönlichkeiten, die Lucinda Riley in ihre Bücher einfließen lässt. Jetzt schreibt sie gerade den 5. Teil der 7 Schwestern und da sagt sie, Tiggy, die Hauptfigur, die ist ihr sehr, sehr ähnlich. Also da ist sie selbst sogar das Vorbild, aber generell ist das so eine Art Mischung und eine Art Rezept, sagt sie, und ein Kuchen ist auch nicht immer gleich. Alles kommt rein und dann ist es jedes Mal eine besondere Mischung. Next question is from Bettina with Lovely Books. Where does your inspiration come from?
Oh my God, that is so difficult, because everywhere I go, I get inspiration, and I am the nosiest person. on God's earth, because if someone says to me they have a secret or there is something I just have to know, and I dig and I dig and I dig until I get that secret out. But the inspiration, 2 or 3 things, for example, have happened today when I met a couple of people who were sitting over there. I won't point them out. And you just suddenly think something triggers in your head and you think, yes, I can use part of that to put into the book. But again, it's all like a chemical process. So it's never the pure person, the pure situation. It's just a thought that inspires you, that you think, oh my God, that is something that I want to write about.
Es gibt bestimmte Situationen und Gedanken und sie sagt, das ist der Moment, in dem sie merkt, ja, da werde ich drüber schreiben. Heute zum Beispiel hat sie auch ein paar Menschen getroffen, die sie zu neuen Geschichten inspiriert haben. Aber all das ist ein Prozess, man kann es also nicht so einfach auf eine einzige Inspiration zurückführen.
The only problem is that sometimes I want to write about a situation, a character, and I'm thinking that is going to be so good and everyone is going to be so interested in this. And then the character that I have somehow created decides to go in a different direction. And sometimes I am sitting there and I am thinking, you stupid idiot, what the hell are you doing with him? Why? We can all see he is a complete toad, and yet you want to kiss him? And normally, that situation, I just have to say, okay, fine, this is what you want to do. Get on with it, because that's life. And I think, especially as a parent, you see your kids doing very stupid things quite a lot of the time. And all you can do is sit there and go, okay, darling, you really like him? Learn.
And you mean that happens to you with your own characters, that you watch them and see, no, what are you doing? You have your own life?
All the time. So when you guys are reading my books, I'm writing them first going, what the hell? But because it's holistic, I never know where I'm going until I'm there. I just don't. And I think that's why it's very inspiring for me to write, because I'm on a journey. And okay, fine, I take the initial journey with the characters, and then it's written down, and then you guys take that journey. But I'm on that same journey. And if I am not excited and inspired, or I'm not crying, or I'm not angry, I'm not feeling emotion, I know that isn't right.
Sie sagt, wenn wir nicht mitgehen würden, wenn wir nicht Emotionen zeigen würden beim Lesen, dann wüsste sie, das würde nicht funktionieren. Und sehr, sehr interessant ist, dass sie sagt, ihre Figuren, die entwickeln durchaus ein Eigenleben. Und das passiert, dass sie ihre Figuren beobachtet und sie ihnen sagt, nee, warum verliebst du dich in den Typen, der ist total falsch für dich. Und sie meint, genau das passiert ja im realen Leben auch. Und so bekommen ihre Figuren auch eine Art Eigenleben.
I just have to say that at the moment in Tiggy, I have the most massive moral dilemma going on.
Why is that?
I can't tell you. But anyway, I can, but it will ruin everything. But it's a very, very huge issue for women. And there is a character in the book, and I have to leave it to her. I have to leave it to her to tell me what she decides to do. And that's what I always do, because I am only the interpreter of, it sounds weird to say the voices I hear, but the characters that come through to me that are so strong and powerful. And so I only ever feel as though I am just writing down what I am listening to. But with this particular issue, which is enormous, I am a little bit nervous, as I was with Cece when I started to write her.
Sie sagt, gerade im Augenblick gibt es auch beim Schreiben des 5. Bandes ein Problem, ein moralisches Dilemma mit ihrer Hauptfigur, und sie weiß noch immer nicht, wie sie sich entscheiden wird. Also das bleibt einfach offen und das wird sehr, sehr spannend.
I just have to ask one question. Do you have the voice here in Germany? These chairs are just...
We always use these chairs. Should we go both on the other side?
Bang! I want you. I want to be Rita Ora.
And this is a bit like the James Bond films, isn't it?
I
the
suppose
70s
so,
films?
but no, it's definitely like the voice and that big button.
You're
Sorry,
right.
anyway, never mind.
So, do you want to sing?
No, I want someone else to sing. Someone else come up and audition.
We're gonna have a new question. Die nächste Frage kommt von Brigitte. Vielen Dank, auch sie kam über Lovely Books. Was war Ihre Motivation, Schriftstellerin zu werden? Eigentlich eine ganz gute Frage, denn wir wissen ja, Lucinda Riley war vorher Schauspielerin. The question was, what was your motivation to become a writer? And I guess it's interesting because we all know that you have been an actress before. So why changing?
I think that everyone has quite a lot of gifts inside them. No one arrives on this earth without a gift. And I think it's all about finding out what that gift is. And I think that's a really big motivator for the Sisters series, because each one of them is special, just like we all are, because we're all sisters and brothers, you know, on this tiny little planet in the universe. And I think that one has to look at one's gift, and discover it, and then do one's best to actually harness it. And I am very good at making up ridiculous stories. And for some reason, everybody in the world at the moment wants to read them. But I have been writing for 25 years, and there was a time when nobody wanted to read me. So it's not about, I always say it's not about a race. Life isn't a race. Life is about your own path. And I always tell my children never ever to look left or right if their school friends or their uni friends or their work friends are going faster than them and getting those moments. And they're like, Mom, you know, this person, he doesn't deserve it. I'm like, no, you just run your own race. You know, you just look ahead and you do the best that you can with the gifts that God, the universe, has given you. And so the fact that it's taken me 25 years to get to the point where I'm sitting with you has been a beautiful experience. It's been a fantastic journey, but it's also had its moments where I have just said, you know, why am I doing this? You know, nobody wants my books, nobody wants to read me. I've had some really down moments. And I always look at life like a heartbeat. If you were monitored, if they put the heart pads on you, you know, your heartbeat goes like this on an ECG. Do you call it an ECG here? And it goes up and down, okay, like that. Now, some people want it always to be up like that, you know, it just up, up, up. But if that was the case, or in fact it was down, 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 or in fact it was straight, we'd all be dead. You know, so life, our lives are like this flowing heartbeat of ups and downs. And I think we all just have to accept that sometimes life will be great and sometimes it really won't be.
Sie sagt, das Schreiben ist eigentlich wie das Leben eine Reise. Es geht auf und ab und sie vergleicht das ein bisschen mit unserem Herzschlag. Sie sagt, wir würden sterben, wenn wir nur auf einer Ebene unseren Herzschlag hätten. Es muss Hochs und Tiefs geben und genauso ist das nicht nur im Leben, sondern auch im Schreiben. Sie meint auch, jeder hat Talente, ganz besondere Talente, jeder von uns. Und bei ihr ist es eben das Geschichtenerzählen, deswegen wurde sie eine Bestseller-Autorin. Aber sie meint auch, es hat 25 Jahre gedauert und es gab viele Momente, in denen es nicht so rund lief. Aber sie hat durchgehalten, weil sie gemerkt hat, ich habe das Talent, diese Geschichten zu erzählen. Charakteristisch für Lucinda Rileys Bücher sind ja auch die Zeitenwechsel. Vieles spielt in der Gegenwart, vieles in der Vergangenheit. Ich bewundere das immer, wie sie da hin und her springt. In welchen Zeiten lebt sie denn oder schreibt sie am liebsten? I just mentioned that your books always play on different time levels. There's always the present and the past. So if you could choose a time you would live in, which one do you prefer?
Paris, 1920s, yeah. But I'd need to be rich, you know. or Downton Abbey, but yes, I'd want to be upstairs, not downstairs. Yeah, I think 1920, 1930 is really perfect because it's between the wars. Also, you had some electricity if you were rich. You had a little bit of medicine, which was a good idea, but you also got to wear really fantastic clothes, you know, as women. All those lovely Charleston dresses, I mean, just wonderful.
Paris in den 20er Jahren, sagt sie, einfach wundervoll. Wenn man reich ist, dann, das wäre die Voraussetzung, dann würde sie gerne tauschen. Apropos Geschichte, wie war Lucinda denn in der Schule in Geschichte? How about your history classes, your lessons? Were you a good student?
I was really boring, and yes, I was. I just loved from the moment that I could, you know, start to learn, and I went to school, I just loved history. And so I was the really sad person that at the weekends in London went to visit the Victoria and Albert Museum by myself, while all my friends were like, I don't know, snogging boys and going to discos. And I got to snog boys in the end, so don't worry, I'm not that sad. But I just absolutely love history, and I think I love it because it tells us so much about ourselves. If you don't know what's come before, how can you know how you got here to this moment where we're all sitting? And recently, in fact 3 days ago, I was at my son's parents' evening, and he has to decide what subjects he's doing. And so, of course, I'm like, history, history, history. And he's like, Mom, I want to do music tech, you know, and photography, hello. So we actually, in the end, came to some kind of agreement that he would suffer history if he would be allowed to do music tech and photography, because I really think that people need to know about how we got to the point that we got to, because how can you learn, how can you rationalize any moment in time unless you know what's come before?
Geschichte ist ganz wichtig, sagt sie. Sie selbst war jetzt nicht gerade eine vorbildliche Schülerin im Geschichtsunterricht, aber jetzt weiß sie, das ist extrem wichtig, denn wenn wir nicht wissen, wo wir herkommen, können wir auch nicht die Gegenwart genießen und die Geschichten erzählen, die in der Gegenwart spielen. Sie sagt auch, sie versucht momentan gerade ihrem Sohn beizubringen, der sich eher für Musik und Fotografie interessiert. Geschichte ist viel, viel wichtiger. Da gab es offenbar in der Familie auch die ein oder andere Diskussion. Apropos Familie, ich habe gehört, dass Lucindas Vater auch ein Geheimnis umgab. Vielleicht wissen Sie ja, in den Schwestern, in den 7 Schwestern, da ist ja der Vater sehr, sehr mysteriös. Welches Geheimnis war denn in der Familie Riley? I just heard that your own father, not the father in your 7 Sisters books, was kind of a secret, kind of a mysterious man, because as a child you didn't know what he really does, and he was very often away. Is that true?
Yes.
So when did you discover? You can talk like that, it's no problem.
I mean, I'm having my Q moment, my James Bond moment here. No, we don't know what he did. We don't know where he was. He was away an awful lot. And I had a sister, only one, not 5. And he just went, and he used to bring me things from wherever he'd been around the world, and we're only now starting to understand that he probably wasn't doing what he said he was. So I'm really hoping that as the story from Past Salt reveals itself, so does my father, but it's pretty hard because there are all sorts of Official Secrets Act, as you know, that can't be revealed until 50 years after their death, etc. So yes, he was, I suppose, the inspiration for the 7 Sisters, although I only realized this recently, as you do in retrospect. You know, when you do something and you think, why have I done this? And you have no idea, and then it takes time, and you suddenly have a moment and you think, that's why.
Im Rückblick erkennt man ja oft Dinge und auch Verhaltensweisen. Warum habe ich das gemacht? Und Lucinda sagt, genau so ging das ihr mit ihrem Vater, dass sie beim Schreiben der 7 Schwestern gemerkt hat, Wow, das hat tatsächlich etwas mit Ihrem eigenen Vater zu tun, der tatsächlich den ein Geheimnis umgab, was nicht gelüftet werden konnte. Ich habe auch gehört, dass Lucinda mal gesagt hat, sie hat eigentlich schon immer auch als Kind in ihrer Fantasie gelebt. Wie meint sie das genau? I heard that you once said that you always have lived within your imagination. How do you mean that? How was that as a child?
It's much better to live in your imagination than the horrible world, isn't it? I mean, you know, it really is. And I think that's why people go to films and watch TV and read books, because everybody wants to escape. And you have to have a balance. And I'm just so grateful that I have, you know, Stephen, my husband, and my children, because if I didn't, I would literally be sitting here being bananas, because I would have lived in my fantasy world so long that I couldn't come back down. And, you know, I mean, a lot of writers, especially in the last 100 years, went mad. They went crazy. I mean, lucky them. They were smoking drugs and they were, you know, taking opium and they were, you know, pouring the alcohol down their throats. And sometimes I'm really jealous because, you know, what a life to lead, you know. I mean, yeah, I'm drunk because I'm an author, you know. I have to do this to write my masterpiece. So yeah, I think everything in life has to be a balance. And sometimes it's very odd for me because I will spend the day in my world with my imaginary Seven Sisters friends. And then the kids will come in and it's like, you know, hi mom, you know, rugby was crap and, you know, I got a bruise and chemistry, I failed. And you have to immediately swap to reality. But I think we all need a dose of imagination because it's the way we humans survive in using our imagination, especially when things are very, very tough. And I really hope that the world of social media doesn't take away that use of imagination and playing childhood games, because everybody needs it. They really do.
Fantasie ist extrem wichtig, meint sie. Und das war tatsächlich so, dass sie als Mädchen total in ihrer Fantasie, in ihren Welten, in ihren Märchen gelebt hat. Und sie ist froh, dass sie eine Familie hat, dass sie Kinder hat, dass sie immer wieder auf die Realität zurückgeworfen und geholt wird. Nur so ist es möglich, sagt sie eigentlich, als Schriftstellerin zu überleben. Andererseits meint sie, warum nicht? Wenn es die Familie nicht gegeben hätte, dann wäre sie vielleicht auch voll in Drogen auf und unter gegangen. Wäre vielleicht auch ganz interessant gewesen. Jetzt ist sie allerdings froh, dass es nicht so gekommen ist. Den Bezug zu Deutschland, den würde ich noch gerne ansprechen, denn in dem neuen Schwesternbuch gibt es einen deutschen Christbaum. Da habe ich mich sehr gewundert, der in Australien auftaucht. Und jetzt generell auch die Frage, welchen Bezug hat Lucinda zu Deutschland? Wie ist das für Sie, Ihre Geschichten auf Deutsch zu hören? I just mentioned that in your new sister's novel, there is a German Christmas tree. I was wondering why a German one?
Because they are the best. You have a lot of trees in Germany. I just, for anyone who came this morning, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say again, I just love Christmas. I'm looking at those lights out there and those lights reflected, and it's just so Christmassy and so hygge, and I just absolutely love it. And we have always bought houses with, well, really, because we have a high place to put a very large Christmas tree. So this whole Christmas tree thing is a very big deal for our family. So yes, I do have a German Christmas tree being delivered in 1906 to Australia.
Sie sagt, die deutschen Christbäume sind einfach die schönsten und deswegen hat sie den auch eingebaut.
And also historically, it was Queen Victoria who brought over the whole Christmas tree thing to the UK, and that was through Albert, who obviously, well, he was Belgian, Austrian, but it was their big tradition to have a tree in the house, and that's how it began.
Und viele Monarchen haben ebenfalls die Christbäume geholt und daran hat sie sich auch orientiert. With the German language, is it sometimes weird for you to see or hear your own story in German?
Well, I'm presuming that you have told my correct story, but maybe you have sat there just saying that before I came here I was a pole dancer. dancing away for money. And the reason I did my back in was because I was in a nightclub in Munich last night. I have no idea. I don't know what you're saying, but I trust you, Gunny. I do.
Thank you very much. Sie vertraut uns einfach und sie sagt, ja klar, auch die Übersetzungen werden schon so sein. Sie baut zumindest darauf. Next question von unseren Zuschauern. Warum handelt es sich eigentlich um exakt 7 Schwestern? Why is it exactly 7 sisters you chose?
Because we have 7 children. And also 7 is a magical number. And the story of how I originally decided to write this series was that it was Christmas, and I had our entire family here, and I needed to cook something, and I was really bored by the time that, the 28th of December was here, doing a lot of cooking. And so I just went outside, and I was thinking, is it, chops, or is it lasagna, or is it spag bol? And I saw the Seven Sisters star cluster in the sky. And I thought of my 7 children, and I suddenly thought, oh my God, this is what I have to write. I have to write a story based on the 7 sisters of the Pleiades. And so I came in, and I called everybody, and nobody came except for the dog. And so I told the dog, and that was really interesting. And then they all came down, and I said, I'm so excited. And they were like, right, well, that's great, Mom. Glad you got your story, but what's for supper? And so that's why really it happened. But 7 is a special number.
Das ist eine ganz spezielle, besondere Nummer, sagt sie, aus 2 Gründen. Zum einen ihre Familie, sie lebt mit 7 Kindern insgesamt zu Hause und natürlich bezieht sie sich auch auf das Sternenbild der 7 Schwestern und aus diesen beiden Dingen entstand dann die Buchidee. Katharina fragt über Lovely Books, wenn Sie einen Tag in einem Ihrer Bücher verbringen dürften, welches Buch wäre es? If you could live one day in one of your books, which book would you choose?
Oh, it has to be the 7 Sisters, and it has to be Belle, Isabella, in Paris, with the absolutely glorious Laurent. Yeah, I mean, the good news is that there are bonuses to writing what I write because I can create the most gorgeous men in my books. And I was only thinking the other day how well my husband does, because if you think in my imagination, I am creating these absolutely yummy, gorgeous heroes. And I'm like all day living with Laurent or Floriano or Theo or, any of the men. Drummond in the new book, my God, he is my serious secret bit of rough. How would you say that in German?
Yeah, very attractive.
Yeah, bit of rough.
Yeah.
And poor old Stephen, I come out of, my fantasy world of gorgeous hair, rippling muscles, and incredibly talented. Then Stephen comes in and says, "What's for tea?" I think that you don't feel any jealousy, do you? To my, say again? No, he doesn't feel jealousy, but no, it's interesting because that is one very, very big thing about, everything in the fantasy world I create, I control, and obviously in reality, I don't control anything, certainly not my husband or my children.
Lucinda hat einen sehr, sehr toleranten Ehemann, Steven, der übrigens auch hier ist. Falls Sie sich wundern, wenn Sie uns über Lovely Books oder Facebook zuschauen, warum Lucinda sich immer an eine Seite wendet. Er ist hier, er ist sehr tolerant und sie sagt, das Tolle am Schreiben ist ja, ich kann mir jeden Mann, den ich mir vorstellen will, den erfinde ich einfach und den baue ich in die Bücher ein. Und zu meiner Frage zurückkommt, sie sagt, sie würde als Platz und als Ort und als Buch die 7 Schwestern wählen, und zwar die Passagen, die in Paris spielen. Da war ja auch ein ganz, ganz toller Mann mit dabei. Nächste Frage von Annegret, auch über Lovely Books. Mit welchem Alter oder in welchem Alter haben Sie angefangen zu schreiben? At what age did you start to write?
4. Actually, I submitted my short story to a competition when I was about 7. I was absolutely horrified I didn't win. I do remember that because I thought it was the best story ever. But I think I always wanted to write. I think, as I said at the beginning, that everybody has their different gifts, and if you are creative, you'll see a lot of actors and you'll see a lot of musicians who actually can do something else, like paint or sing, and it's like a little ball of creativity that gives off sparks, if you like, at different stages. I could never, ever in a million years become an engineer or a scientist. And I do think that it's actually, you are either using the left side or the right side of your brain. The one thing that I cannot do at all is paint. I am so rubbish. I can't even draw a square, without having to do a little stick and then squiggle it out. So yes, I think it's all about, as I said, harnessing that gift, but you also have to work on it. The 7-year-old who sent in that story, is now me a good few years on, who has worked and worked and worked towards it. And I think that we live in a world now where we want instant gratification. We want whatever we do to be recognized tomorrow, and it's not like that. And next year for me is 25 years of being a published author. And you guys, and everybody else has only known me for the last 6 years, but I have been doing this job for all that time.
Sie hat mit 4 Jahren angefangen zu schreiben und jetzt gerade sagt sie, das Entscheidende ist, 25 Jahre lang ist sie schon veröffentlicht worden als Autorin. Da war sie eigentlich schon erfolgreich, aber es war unglaublich viel Arbeit. Sie ist dran geblieben, sie hatte Disziplin und nur so ist sie zu dem geworden, was sie jetzt ist. Und sie sagt, das ist wichtig heutzutage zu sagen, wenn wir denken, alles müsste ganz schnell gehen und sofort passieren. Es steckt Arbeit dahinter und sie ist dran geblieben. Yvonne fragt über Lovely Books, wenn Sie keine Bücher schreiben würden, was würden Sie dann tun? What would you do if you wouldn't write?
Pole dance, I don't know. What would I do if I didn't write? Okay, well, one of the things I've always wanted to do is I love cooking. So I've promised myself that once the last book in the series is over, I'm going to take myself off on some kind of really fantastic Italian cooking course and learn to cook. The problem is with me, actually, that I only have 3 passions in life, and the first is obviously my family. And I have to say that my husband, because he's standing about 50 yards away. No, but it is true. I have my family that come first, and then I have the writing, and the other thing that I absolutely adore is houses. I just love houses. And Stephen is always telling me that we have to put our money into stocks and shares and stuff and, save for a pension. I'm always like, oh my God, look at that beautiful house, I just absolutely adore houses. And so one of the beautiful things is that I can write about beautiful houses. So in a sense, that's indulging my passion. But yes, my second passion is definitely, creating beautiful homes. It is.
Häuser sind ihre ganz, ganz große dritte Leidenschaft, sagt sie. Und damit würde sie sich wohl noch mehr beschäftigen, wenn sie nicht schreiben würde. Aber ansonsten ist natürlich die Familie auf Platz 1 und das Schreiben auf Platz 2. Bianca fragt über Lovely Books, müssen Sie in einer bestimmten Stimmung sein, um zu schreiben? Können Sie immer und überall schreiben? Would you say that you could write everywhere and do you have to be in a certain mood to write?
I don't think that anyone who writes full-time like I do has got that luxury. You guys, everybody works. You don't get to work and say, actually, I'm not in the right mood, so I'm going home, Mr. Boss. Bye, see ya. So I think to be a full-time writer, just like a full-time anything, you have got to have the most amazing discipline, And so if I'm having a good day, a bad day, a mediocre day, whatever has happened, this is my job. And I don't want to be one of those, well, I'd quite like to be one of those authors who said, yes, I'm a diva, darling, and, I'm sorry, I'm just not feeling like writing today, so I need some champagne instead to get me going. I think that you just have to, it's not luck, actually. And somebody said this wonderful quote that, the harder I work, the luckier I get. And that is so true in life. So every day, no matter what I am feeling, if I have got a book that I'm either writing or editing, I do it. There's no room to mess about like that. You don't get the luxury of doing that. Why should I get it?
Mhm. Sie sagt, es ist ihr Job, es gibt keine Ausreden, sie setzt sich wirklich jeden Tag hin und versucht zu schreiben, denn das muss sie tun, sie muss die Disziplin haben und wir alle müssen in unseren Jobs etwas leisten, das muss sie auch und dabei bleibt sie, nur so kann sie dieses Pensum schaffen. Ganz zum Schluss würde ich noch gerne wissen, hat der Erfolg Lucinda verändert? Sie hat uns ja jetzt auch schon ein paar Mal gesagt, sie hätte ein komplett anderes Leben führen können mit Champagner oder auf der anderen Seite mit Drogen. Wie sieht sie sich selbst, wenn sie zurückblickt? Hat sie sich verändert?
Can you translate for me, please, quickly?
I'll do it. I just mentioned, and I want to ask you, would you say that in hindsight, the success has changed you in a way? And you mentioned today that you could have been someone, a celebrity with drugs and with champagne, but you haven't. So
I had some champagne earlier. And I took some paracetamol.
So you seem to be so likable and grounded. Would you say you have changed or the success has changed you in a way?
Oh my God, I'd have to ask my family.
I wouldn't dare answer.
Have I changed, darling? No. I don't, well, nobody can answer that question, but I don't think that I have changed particularly, partly because having written for 25 years, I've not been an overnight success. And so I am so aware that I'm only as good as my next book. And so every time a new one comes out, I am in a complete state of panic. And I can't relax until the reviews have come in and, now it's published all over the world. I'm thinking, well, okay, England are okay, we're safe there, and Germany and Norway. Oh my God, but what will America think, and And so I live on my nerves the whole time. So I never, ever feel complacent or arrogant or comfortable because I know that you can be a big success. Go away. One moment. Even the mites love me at the moment. You can be a big success one moment and the next you are toast, you are nowhere, and you are nothing. And so you must never, ever, we would say, rest on your laurels or think you're something special because you're not. And, the people who are special are, people who save lives, the ambulance service, the heart surgeons. All I do is write books, So I keep very grounded. And if I am not grounded, then my family makes sure I am.
Sie ist sehr bodenständig, sagt sie, und sie bleibt es auch, weil die Familie dafür sorgt. Menschen, die wirklich wichtig sind, sagt sie, sind diese, die andere Leben retten und nicht welche, die Bücher schreiben. Also sie ist wirklich, und das wurde vom Ehemann auch gerade noch bestätigt, am Boden geblieben. Es war eine große, große Ehre, Sie hier zu haben, Lucinda Riley. Ich danke natürlich auch fürs Publikum hier bei der lit.Love, für alle, die zugeguckt haben, bei Lovely Books oder bei Facebook. And I'm sure, Lucinda, I speak for the whole audience. It has been a great pleasure to have you here at the lit.Love. Thank you very much for coming. Lucinda Riley.
Thank you. And I just want to ask one question. Is Gulken here? Sorry, she writes to me all the time. Hello. I just wondered where you were. You must come and say hello. Okay, and I just want to say thank you so much for the last time because without you guys, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't be allowed to write my books. He'd send me out to do some laundry or something, and at least I'm earning some money doing something I love. So just thank you and bless you all. Thank you.